up with his tribal guides, waist deep in crocodile-infested swampy jungle, trying to get close to these great apes. Luckily, my guide Eric has a good idea where we might spot one.
Oh, there, Bill, the orangutan.
Where?
See it between the branches over there. Right between that big tree.
Yep,
just
yep, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Look at that. Good spot.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big male. I can just see a huge hairy back. And he's just hanging out here waiting for the sun to come up. Brilliant. That's my first sighting of a Bornean orangutan. And he's got his back to me.
How big is Eric?
Eric takes us in to give me a chance to see him face to face.
See, this sort of thing that I really admire about Wallace is that he came through this jungle in the 1850s with all manner of Victorian paraphernalia, collecting jars around his neck, huge, heavy trunks and butterfly nets. He was a tough cookie.
Trying to spot our orang from the forest floor isn't easy. You'd think something the size of a man couldn't just disappear. But it can.
Oh, is it? Yeah. This here?
Yeah. See a bunch of leaves sitting on the branches. See how it turns out.
That's absolutely huge. Okay, now he's on the move.
Yep.
Oh, let's follow him around.
This way.
There you go. Got a fantastic view of it now, just up here.
Yeah.
I just love the way that he just hangs out there. He's not really bothered with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's just taking his time, eating. It's just amazing to see him in the wild. I mean, it's one of those things I've always wanted to do, and this is an extraordinary moment.
The thought of Wallace shooting these gentle giants I find deeply uncomfortable. That was the Victorian way. But unlike many of his contemporaries, he also thought it important to observe them alive. Wallace turned his attention to the mind-boggling diversity of insects. To study one group thoroughly would, in his opinion, deliver some definite results. So he set himself a punishing schedule of bug collecting. I'm taking up my net, lashed to a bit of bamboo. It's heavy and a bit cumbersome, but hopefully it'll bag me some butterflies. Wallace did this for hours and hours, day after day. The trick is to keep your eye on the prize. But that's the problem. You can't see where you're stepping. Then there's the humidity, the tropical heat, not to mention the blood-sucking leeches. This is not some prissy pastime.
Oh,
it's extreme.
Oh. Good. The floor, come here. Do that. It's impossible!
Okay, time for a rethink. I'm going to channel the spirit of Wallace. Stay calm, pick my spot, wait for them to come to me.
Look at that! I've caught a frog! Brilliant! It's not the intended quarry. The frog, thinking he was safe, was some way downstream, not realising this is actually the Hotchkiss 4000B with detachable frog catcher. Thus, surprising the frog. I mean, look at it, he looks surprised. I did not expect that. Right, there you go. Go on then. Go on. Oh! That's the way to catch them. This is actually a delicate little wood nymph. It just takes me back to when I was about 10 years old trying to catch purple emperors in the New Forest and not succeeding because they were all fluttering at the tops of the fir trees and you needed some special extendable net to get there, and I wasn't quite at that level of seriousness, but me and my cousin spent many summers chasing butterflies. It's quite a thrill when you get one in the net. This is a beautiful sort of lacy, translucent creature, and it just sort of flutters along gently in the forest. Really, a lot of other butterflies are just hell for leather, like running in fear of their lives. But this thing just seems to be taking its time. I think because it's highly toxic, its larva feeds on poisonous leaves, so it's sort of, I think it's maybe got a bit more swagger. Yeah, you can eat me if you want, but you're going to pay.
Nightfall brought Wallace some respite. After each strenuous day, he was in bed by 8, just as the dark jungle came alive. At one camp, villagers brought Wallace a nocturnal creature that seemed to defy another key rule of Victorian science, that God designed animals perfectly. And if we're lucky, I can find it.
I'm looking for Wallace's flying frog. And it's not easy because it spends most of its time up there in the jungle canopy. But the only time it comes down to ground level is at night to mate in a little pond. Well, I found a pond over here. By the sound of it, there's a lot of frog action going on. So, I'm going to investigate. Yep. Now you're cute, but you're not Wallace's frog. Look at that! Whoa, look at that! This isn't a Wallace. Oh, he's got these wonderful golem-like sticky pads on his toes. On you go. Whoop-la. Ah, but what's that? Look. Under here. I think I got one. Look at that. This is Wallace's flying frog. It's the most amazing creature. Look at it. And when it was discovered, this was the first time anyone had found anything so fantastical and strange. An extraordinary creature.
His discovery was like science fiction, a whole new concept of what a frog could be.
And it has these huge webbed feet. You can see that. There, look at that. Which allow it to actually glide through the forest. All right, we can do this. That's where you're headed, there's a leaf. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Fly. Wow! Look at that!
Not bad for something trying to fly with its feet, but hardly a perfect design. Initially, this was just a stopover as he ventured east. But the creatures on Sulawesi were so curious and unique, he returned a further 3 times. This amazing island is where I pick up his story. And with the help of my guide, Bobby, I'm searching for a tree-dwelling creature that would become a key piece of his evolutionary puzzle.
So, Bobby, how do you find a bear couscous?
Oh, I can smell.
You can smell them?
Yes, yes, I can smell it. The pee was very stinky.
The pee?
Yes, very stinky.
Right. So it's a very strong,
Very,
pungent
very,
smell, yeah?
very strong, yes.
All right. Okay. See if we can sniff one out.
Oh, up here. Just, yeah. You see?
Oh, yeah, got it.
You got it?
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever seen one of these creatures, a bear couscous. And they are quite extraordinary. They're unique. You only find them here in Sulawesi. I've seen other kinds of couscous throughout Indonesia, but this one is the only one that moves around during the day, so it's a lot easier to see. His face resembles quite a cross sloth. You know, sloths quite benign, almost sort of sleepy looking, but these look just like they're angry about something. And in fact, these are supposed to be active during the day, but I mean, that's not really active, is it? I mean, he scratched his ear once. You know. That's really at the low end of active.
What excited Wallace about this lazy couscous is it's a marsupial, a relative of Australian mammals like kangaroos that carry their young in pouches. And these weren't the only Australian creatures on this island. He also came across Australian birds, like cockatoos. Wallace was starting to see a pattern. The longer Wallace spent on Sulawesi, the more it puzzled him. The couscous and tarsiers weren't the only curiosities. So many bizarre creatures here were unique, found nowhere else in the world. And it was on this very beach, more than 150 years ago, that Wallace encountered one of the strangest of all. Sulawesi macaques.
They really are quite odd-looking creatures, small, compact, jet black fur, and as Wallace wrote, about the size of a spaniel. They've got this strange hair and big foreheads and a permanent look of surprise on their faces. They really are peculiar-looking creatures. What?
Okay, so maybe there is a passing resemblance. He wrote how they would stare at him in astonishment as he went collecting.
10 o'clock, monkey incoming. We've obviously attracted a bit of attention here. We've got the whole family's turned up to have a look at us.
And they haven't lost that natural curiosity.
Let's just check him out. I'm obviously been accepted as part primate.
Wallace had encountered other species of macaques on his travels. All were brown and had tails. But their cousins on Sulawesi were black and tailless. And they had Mohicans. Wallace wanted to understand why these monkeys, and the other creatures here, were so different. Something about this island drove species to change. The best way to find birds of paradise is to search for their display tree, since they use the same tree every morning.
What about this one?
Bukan.
And my guide, Yanis, says he knows where the tree is.
That's that one there.
Bukan.
You sure?
Ya, bukan.
But I'm beginning to wonder, he might just be winding me up.
This one?
Bukan.
What about this one?
Bukan.
Well, this isn't going quite as well as I'd hoped. But Yanis assures me if I return the following day before dawn, the birds' raucous calls will guide me in. So, it's a very early start.
Well, it's been a 20-minute trek into the jungle up this muddy path in darkness. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. The forest's really starting to come alive. And I think the birds are very close. So we're going to check them out.
And sure enough, the birds make themselves heard.
An extraordinary thing.
It's a real privilege to see these in the wild. It's very, very rare to get this opportunity. And in fact, since Wallace's time, they've only been spotted a handful of times. To see one is just an extraordinary, rare privilege. All the months of hardship, the trekking, the boat disasters, all of that would have just faded away when he saw these birds.
It's incredible the lengths the males will go to impress a female. It's barely light, and the jungle is full of their nasal barks.
All the males have their own individual call. It's like they're trying to outdo each other. It's like, you've got a whack, whack, whack. All right, I've got a walk, walk, walk.
Their name, the standard wing, comes from the long white feathers that look a bit like military standards or flags.
For Wallace, seeing these birds of paradise, these entirely new birds of paradise, must have been an extraordinary culmination of his quest. I mean, he came here to see these birds, to collect them, but to find an entirely new one, unlike any other bird of paradise, must have exceeded his wildest expectations. And in fact, he writes to his agent, Stevens, in a state of gibbering excitement. I consider this my greatest discovery yet.
Wallace was fascinated by the possibility that